Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome to my show Connecting with Saima Parwaz. I hope all of you are doing great and waiting to see my another guest. In order to deal with crime, business agreements and social relationships, we need law and lawyers. My today's guests are an other pair of lawyers. This beautiful couple has been running their practice for the last 10 years. Welcome to my show, Mr. Haroon and Mrs. Haroon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
How's your day so far?
It's been good, busy.
Busy, hectic.
Back to school, we're managing with back to school with the kids and then going back to work, so it's been a show.
Yeah,
so it's busy.
Yeah,
busy,
yes.
yes.
And especially in you guys are lawyers and life is definitely very busy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, starts early and ends late. And that's how it's been for a few years now.
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks for coming and
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And now just tell me about your career background. How did you guys start your career in law, both of you?
Yeah, for sure. I'll take this one, Ayoun. So from an early start, I would say we kind of had a niche towards law. We gravitated towards it. Ayoun kind of introduced it to me in high school because he comes from a background of lawyers, and from which we kind of picked up on that. We picked up on the subject of law in high school. There wasn't as such anything carved out back in the early 2000s, to which then we did our undergrad and then our postgrad. Everything was done in law, and then that's how we gravitated towards it. It was kind of like pivoting off each other.
Yeah. So I come from a family, we take a lot of prestige, with studies in law, and my grandfather was a lawyer himself from Lincoln's in London. So ever since I was a kid, he was my role model. I looked up to him, even though I did not understand at that age what law was. But I always looked at his education, his discipline, his attitude, and something that inspired me all my life. And as I grew, I initially wanted to be a pilot. That never worked out. But then I met Sabeeya, and one thing led to another. We decided to pursue our studies in law, and that's where it took off.
Mm-hmm. That's great. All right, so you guys are life partners and business partners. What are some benefits work together?
Okay.
I want to hear you first.
So there's pros and cons to everything, and that's how life is. Being business partners, life partners, there's more benefit than the other way around, to be honest. We get to work together, our schedules are intertwined. There are things that we can assist each other with if we don't understand, because our practice areas are different. So I don't do the same thing as Sabeeya, which is something that benefits us a lot, because as a firm, we can actually practice in more areas rather than restricting ourselves to a limited number of areas of practice. So let's just say if I'm working on a real estate file and she needs questions, she primarily works in family law, and there's a lot of overlap. Laws not very distinct. So if you're doing real estate, yes, it is distinct, but there are on many occasions there's an overlap between the practice, and that's where we sort of assist each other, exchange our experiences with our strengths. And I would say the drawback is that you are always together, but we've even conquered that, because we've told each other that at work we're not life partners, we're just business partners.
And we close the door.
We close
doors.
So if I'm going through a meeting, or if I'm going through a very stressful time, and she knows that I'm going through it, she knows that she's not going to come and even bother knocking on my door, and vice versa. When she's busy, I know that I'm not going to go barge into her office. So that's how we're able to maintain a stable relationship.
That's great. So it's understanding, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So which area of law do you guys practice?
So I primarily practice real estate, immigration law. I do estate planning as well, so wills, power of attorneys. I believe Sabeeya is primarily practicing in family law and litigation.
Yeah, so because family law intertwines with litigation, the most part, that's what really keeps me busy. But if I have like a continuing client who is now done, like wrapped up their services with family, and you know they're in a lot of satisfaction of it, then sometimes I then go on to see what their new needs are. So if they need me to put them in touch with like maybe a real estate lawyer and I don't do that, then I'll introduce them to the other lawyers that are in our firm.
Yeah. So that's a benefit.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
So we
you
pivot our
even have
clients
to
off each
take the
other.
shortcomings and you have to make it a positive thing, right?
Yeah.
You have to give it a positive spin. Otherwise, you know, if you're very negative oriented, you know, one thing leads to another, and eventually that negativity encompasses the entire space. So you have to make sure that you're always positive. There are tough times at work as well, when I'm stressed out and we have to converse, we have staff. But you know what, when you have such experience, you build that patience. You get to learn how to maintain your business, the structure, relationships, and the ambiance within your workplace.
That's great. So which communities do you guys deal with?
So we were having this discussion before that it's wonderful because Mississauga is so intertwined with all this multiculturalism that, you know, we have various communities seek our services. So not only just the South Asian, but it'll be like the Oriental communities, especially Vietnamese people. Then there'll be Polish and Italian. So we see a horizon of everyone actually. And I think that's what Mississauga is made up of. So we've been blessed in that sense, right?
You know, a lot of law firms I know, they target the South Asian community, which is good. In particular,
yeah.
Right? I believe that, you know, our scope needs to be much wider, primarily because, you know, when you're dealing with people with different backgrounds, it's not just the fact that you're getting multiculturalism in your firm, but also the fact that you get to learn a lot. Because a person maybe who's Pakistani or Indian who comes to me for something has different needs in comparison to a person who's Polish or perhaps Italian. So the fact that you're able to deal with such a vast array of people, it's actually in return teaching you a lot.
It's actually really nice because when you do have that, like I most recently had someone call in and say, I really want to hire you, and they're from Timmins. And that's really far. Like Timmins is really far from us. So I was like, oh, I was taken back by it with surprise. Like, oh, has that good service, word of mouth, reached so far? Like I was humbled by it. And he now is my client, but it gave me like a minute to think like what good customer satisfaction can result into, right?
And also during the period of COVID, so I believe post 2020, we realized as a team that online presence is also very important, because nowadays, you know, it's not that old school, a person physically coming into your office all the time. Sometimes people judge you from your online presence, your reviews, your you know, what you do, and the outcomes of certain matters, obviously confidentially. But so what we realized over time, especially post-COVID, that online presence is extremely important. And you have to put it out there to people, because nowadays, you know, everybody has a phone in their hand. It's as simple as Googling our name and trying to see, hey, we saw these people on TV. Who are these people? You know, you search them, you get a hit, and then you realize, oh, okay, well, that's how a lot of times we end up having clients. People come to us saying, hey, we've heard such good things about you guys. The gentleman from Timmins, it's all online. It's word of mouth. Like I said, word of mouth, online presence, these all come together to make you a successful law firm.
So your law firm is under your names, both of you?
Yes, that's correct.
Our individual first name.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you just say the name of your firm?
Yeah. Ayoun and Sabeeya LLP.
Yeah.
Ayoun and Sabeeya LLP.
And the phone number?
So our phone number is 905-232-2793.
Okay, so they're just gonna put your firm's name, and you guys will be pop up in Google
Yes.
and YouTube and anywhere, right?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if they like to reach to you guys.
Yeah, so if they want to
100%.
reach us, they can call us at the number that I just mentioned, 905-232-2793. And then we have a clerk that inputs the calls. And then we also offer 10 to 15 minute free consultation. So if you seek that and you say, you know what, I want that 10 to 15 minute free consultation, she'll book you in accordingly for whatever matter you may want to pursue.
Business,
Yeah.
All right. That's
Okay.
great. Thank you so much. So which other languages do you guys speak? English and
Primarily, yeah.
Primarily we
English, Urdu, and
my mother
Punjabi.
tongue is Urdu.
Yeah.
I speak English. I also speak Punjabi fluently. I would want to say I also speak Hindi. I know it sounds very similar to Urdu, but yes. So I can also read Arabic thanks to our religion. I'm able to read Arabic as well. I cannot speak it. I cannot write
It's
it.
so funny.
Some
We get a
words.
lot of
Some
Arabic
words,
clients.
yeah, you have overlaps.
We get a lot of
absolutely.
Arabic clients coming in thinking that we're also Arabic, and they'll hire us. And then after hiring us, they're like, "You don't speak Arabic," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't."
We get that a lot. So
But we can put in, certain measures if you want to be satisfied. But they're really happy,
yeah,
and then we
because
break it
your
down.
last name is also a little bit different.
Yeah.
it's not a typical.
Pakistan.
I'm from Pakistan. My background's from Pakistan. It's not a typical Pakistani name. So often when people come to my office, they hear me talking in Urdu and very fluent Urdu, and they sort of ask me, "Hey, we thought you were Middle Eastern or
Often,
Persian,
often.
Farsi." So I'm like,
That's
no.
what I thought when I met him.
Yeah.
No, nothing like that.
All right. So it's for you. The in male-dominated society, which kind of challenges did you face?
Yeah, so I would say when I first stepped into the practice, I did feel slightly intimidated when opposing counsel would try to use like a firm tone. But I still remember this one really good mentor that I will leave her name out of it. But she had advised me, like, you should take it with a stride of pride, because for you to come this far, it takes a lot. So that thought always rattles at the back of my mind when I feel that whether it be opposing or a difficult client or a difficult opposition who is self-represented, those are always the hardest to deal with. I always think, no, you know what, I'm going to power up. I'm going to channel myself through this, and I'm going to get this done. So I have this little internal voice that gnaws at me with this positivity, and I try to take it, and then I use that during the day. But when it totally comes crashing down, then I will knock on Ayoun's door. And just like any good firm, you can knock on your partner's door and you say, listen, you know what, this is what I'm challenged with today. Can you help me face it? And then when you have good staff, like, alhamdulillah, we're blessed with good staff, good people around us, they all help us channel our way through it. So that's how I think I kind of
And today's
go through
women
it.
are strong, right?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get there.
Thanks to this country as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Canada, that we call home, it's allowed these stereotypes to break, because even today, if you go back to countries like traditional countries, conservative countries, I'm not saying one's wrong, one's right, but if you go to conservative countries, we still have that kind of this mental understanding of that the man's going to be working and the woman's going to be home, which is fine if it's working out for someone, but at the same time, there are occasions when women need to step up and they need to get into the workforce. And the fact of the matter is that women are an essential part of our industry, and it keeps growing. So hats off to women like you, Sabeeya, who are who have families, kids, and having all that, you guys are still taking out time and making sure that your presence is felt in the community.
And it's not easy, Saima.
It's not easy. Very
Right? Yeah.
So guys, I'm really enjoying talking to you guys. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And we're gonna go for a small break, guys, and we'll be back. Hi friends, welcome back to my show, and we are here with a beautiful couple. So how was your break?
It was good. We had a chat about things that, are concerns about our community, how our community's progressed in the last few years, and what we need to do
What
in
we
the
need
next
to,
coming, the next generation, what they need to do to make sure that they have a successful career.
Law and lawyers shape the society. Being a part of the society, what are some ways we can help other people and we can improve the society? Any tips you guys have?
So I would say like giving back, mentoring where you can, and educating the youth in terms of what important decisions they may want to take and having the knowledge when they take those decisions. We face this a lot in family law where, you'll have young couples wanting to divorce, and I don't automatically, create a plan where we just jump into a divorce, but, we introduce them to the idea of first separating, amicably finding your way through major problems if they think that they were, and helping them come to a clean break. So I always tell the youth, like, education is key. And when you're informed about a certain predicament that you may find yourself in, then you can, channel and navigate that more successfully. Right?
Something, I can talk about as well. For example, real estate. That's something that I primarily do now. A lot of people come to me and, our community is such that, one person said, hey, I purchased a property and I flipped it and I made $500,000. It sounds very simple. Right?
Sounds easy.
It sounds very easy. And then, this individual who's perhaps new to the system or is young will hear it and say, hey, that's an easy way to make money. And without actually getting informed about the actual process or talking to somebody that's a professional, somebody like us who's been doing this for years and years, they would just jump right in, and by the time they come out of it, guess what? They don't make that $500,000. They end up losing money a lot of times because they're ill-informed and they don't take that time to learn what it is. So at our firm, what we do is if somebody comes, a lot of times, first-time home buyers, people stuck with mortgage renewals, a lot of problems people are in. What we do is we are very personable. If somebody wants to reach out to us, we'll be more than happy to speak to them in an amicable way and perhaps explain to them what the process is. You need to understand how real estate transaction works. It's not just as simple as buying and selling. What does involve? What does the buying involve? Taxes and disbursements, costs. There's a lot of things that you need to look at before you can make that decision. But the good part is that if you are informed, this country gives you a lot of opportunity to benefit and reap monetarily and have a successful career, a successful business, successful investment firm. So we're more than happy to help people like that.
That's great. So teamwork is always good, and we can get better output when we work together, right?
I would say so, 100%. Yeah.
I think teamwork teaches you a lot of patience.
Is that number one for you?
That is number one for me. The reason being is because when I work with people, there's a lot of learning around that.
Yeah.
Being a lawyer is very stressful. It can be stressful, I would like to say that. So there are times when I'm in my office and I'm in the middle of a situation and my clerk walks in and asks me a question that is perhaps completely irrelevant to what I'm in right now. The easiest thing to do is to snap, to get upset. Hey, why did you ask me? But that's where you have to observe patience and you have to realize, hey, you know what? You're in that situation and the other person is only trying to help you with your firm. So, in essence, patience is key.
With teamwork?
With teamwork, yeah.
And then you learn every day, right? Like
Yeah.
when you have a good team, even if you're learning one thing every day that's new, I think that's being successful.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right? So it opens you up to this amazing horizon of continuously learning new things. And, you know, I think that's what I would say success is.
And you have to live every moment. Like we were discussing during the break as well. You don't have to chase your dream. You can live your dream. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think that, you know, this is our dream and you continuously work for it and you think that that's going to, but when that time comes, you're onto something else. Life is not designed that in a way that you achieve your dreams and that's it. You've achieved everything. Once you reach that point, you're onto something else. So it's very important to make sure you have a good team and you're living your dream every day. So even if it's a small success, one day at a time, that's fine by us. Yeah.
How many people are in your team in office?
So currently we have 5 people working for our team. Some of them are working remotely. We have 3 lawyers, we have clerical staff, and then we have lots of volunteers that are working for our firm.
Yeah.
So law students probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, law students.
And then paralegal students.
Paralegal students, yeah.
So they'll like find us and touch base with us, and then if we do have the time to mentor them properly, we'll take them on. But if we feel like there's already positions that are full, we'll tell them, you know, apply again within 6 months.
Right.
So what motivates you guys, like to just work hard?
Where does the motivation come from? I think each other.
Yeah, each other. Yeah.
We'll drive each other's motivation. We drive it out of each other.
It's true.
Right? And
The fact that we can give back to the society.
I was just going to say, like, when you have clients come in with a certain problem or a predicament, their problem drives you to want to, you know, help them reap the best possible reward or, you know, outcome. And our clients, you know, kind of channel us in that manner. And it's that continuous feeling of wanting to do the best for your clients. And the thing about Ayoun and I is, like, we're not your typical billboard law firm where we have hundreds of clients coming in and we don't know you and you're by a number. We get to actually know our clients. We know their materialized facts. And, you know, we want to resonate with them. So when we provide a certain scheme or an idea to pitch forward, we make sure that it fits their lifestyle.
And it also
Right?
helps you with advertisement. And one may ask how. It's because when you're giving back to the community and when you're personable with your clients, it spreads word of mouth. So if I'm dealing with a client who I've given a very wonderful experience, that it is in most likelihood that person will go out to his friends and family and say, hey, I came across this lawyer. He sounded very knowledgeable. He was calm, he was patient, he was listening to my problems, and he was able to address how to fix my issues. And, you know, that person would definitely make recommendations to their friends and family. And there's a lot of surveys out there that show that, you know, these TV advertisements, yes, they help you get recognized in the community, but if you actually want business, if you want people to come to your firm and retain you as lawyers, you need to provide that certain level of service that will in turn allow this person to go out and tell his or her family and friends that these are the people.
I always recommend it. I say,
Yeah.
if I'm the first lawyer that you're seeing, go see 2, 3 others.
Yeah, second
Because
opinion.
you want to make sure that when you hire a lawyer, you have a good working relationship with them. And if you don't feel comfortable with one of them, then you're going to be able to pick between the ones that you've interviewed or you've taken a consultation with. And then you're going to be in satisfaction of them. And then they'll be like, oh, thank you for introducing me to that idea. I say, go check out the market and then come back when you feel that you want to hire me.
And that is the best form of
And
advertisement.
then I think throughout the entire process, they're very satisfied,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
We
Sometimes
get a lot of referrals, word of mouth. People come to us and say, hey, you know, we want you guys because someone knows me, and that's how we know you. I mean, that's how, you know, that's how remote the relationship is, but people still want to speak to lawyers that have, you know, good reputation in the market, and that's how we do it. You have to make sure that if a client walks into your office, you're giving them service. You're not just treating them, like Sabeeya said, just as a number. This is number one and number two. You're treating them as individuals with individual problems. Yeah.
So what is coming next? Any business plans, any dreams you guys want to achieve?
So
I was discussing that.
we do
I think we're
plan-
living in it.
We're living the dream, obviously.
Mashallah.
But mashallah,
Alhamdulillah,
we
yeah.
do plan on expanding our firm. We do plan on taking on lawyers because there comes a time where, you know, there's a lot of influx of work and we're only humans. So, you know, we can't be jack of all trades, master of none. So you have to limit your skill. That's something also that we had to discuss when we were establishing our firm. I initially was under the idea that I would do pretty much everything. But when I spoke to qualified, skilled people, they had told me that, you know, don't spread your scope completely open. Don't do everything. Limit yourself to what you specialize in and then work in that field.
What you like?
And
What
then
we
you
like,
have a
yeah.
burning desire towards it
Right,
and
because
a passion,
if you're
right?
doing everything,
Yeah.
you're all over the place. You know, you can't be a plastic surgeon and you can't be a physician and an ophthalmologist and a dentist at the same time. You can't do everything at the same time. And that's how law is as well.
Yeah. And I think you're really good with property matters. And then for myself, I feel like family law fit into my life so perfectly because I am a mom. And I can resonate with people who have children. So
You are a woman.
yeah, and I'm compassionate towards that. So a lot of my clients will be like, well, you know, you don't know how it feels with children. It's like, no, yes, I do know. I am a mom, right? So sit down and we'll talk our way through it. And then they're like, oh, okay, you're a mom. And then they want to sit down and have that conversation with me. Yeah.
So being a lawyer, you have a very busy schedule. So how do you guys get time for the family, kids?
I think we have to chisel it out and carve it out.
The moment I get home, my phone's put to the side.
That's what he says. That's what he
It's
says.
hard. It's easier said than done. I get it, but at least I have a rule.
Yeah.
I don't comply with it completely.
But
sometimes.
come 7 p.m. or like 8 p.m. and if I'm done for the day, I mean, like we're past 7 right now, so not always. I'll try to just put it on vibe, and if I catch the vibe, I have to admit, I'll gravitate towards the phone. But I have a 6-year-old and she'll be like, Mom, put down the phone. And I'm trying to like be a good role model for her. And I'll put it down and I'll say, yes, no technology, no radiation. And then we kind of do things one-on-one. So, you know, we really do try.
Dinner on the dining table every evening, spending time with kids, spending time with your wife. And
the old
it is
school way.
the old school way, right? Yeah.
With
And
no
when you're
no
home,
TV.
you're so like what should
Exhausted?
I call it? You're very exhausted, but you're also almost have this greed to talk about work because you feel like if I talk about it now, I could save some time in the morning. So you have this urge to talk about work.
We do, because we're
And
together.
There are times where supposed to be like, well, today, case XYZ happened. And I'll be like, all of a sudden I'll stop her and say, hey,
So we try to
no
put in
work
this
at
rule
home.
where we'll be like, no work-related conversation. So
Yeah.
he'll be like, no work-related conversation.
It's very enticing talking about work
Yeah.
because you feel like you're being productive, but you have to put a stop to it. You cannot talk about work at home. Otherwise, you're always in it.
It's endless, right?
It's endless, and you're always under that mental stress. So you have to make sure that you're very disciplined when you're home. And family time is strictly family time.
So this is another question, a very basic question I ask to most of my guests. Inflation is so on its peak right now.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
So how an average person can come up with it, how they can survive, any ideas, any tips?
Honestly, I would suggest, I understand inflation is an extremely big problem right now. It's actually...
We feel like there's no alleviation from any aspect, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
There's also a mistrust with, the system as well because they keep on announcing interest rate hikes and how that's going to bring down inflation, but really so far it hasn't happened. So there's a lot of disappointment in the
general.
community in general as well. I believe that the same old rule: save your money. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time on things that are not benefiting you. Um, you know, limit your vacations.
And in addition to
Because I
that,
know a lot of people love traveling.
yeah.
I would say that do travel. It's good for your sanity. But I know some individuals that excessively travel just for leisure. That may not be a good idea.
And in addition to that, you had made a really good point just prior to this, where we spoke about, before you go into your forever home or you invest, take the time to call a good lawyer and educate yourself.
Yeah.
Is this something? And then, our firm in particular works with certain brokerages. Can you get a mortgage in on time? Will this help? It will help you, throughout all the elements or all the stages within a real estate matter. So I know housing is very important for a lot of us. Get education, be well informed in regards to it. And then the day-to-day, before you dive into it, budget yourself carefully. I'm not a financial advisor in any way, but the way we do it at home is we will talk about it. Is it really necessary? Is this one thing? How will it change my quality of life?
I'll give you an example. If your AC breaks down, it's the middle of the summer and it's very hot, you would probably call a technician to get it fixed, because if you try to fix an AC, there's most probability you'll probably end up ruining it more. If it needed $100 repair, by you doing something to it, it's now going to cost you $500. That's the way it works. If you're into investments, if you're into real estate, if you're into immigration or anything that requires professional opinion, get it.
Yeah.
That's my fundamental.
Even for my family law clients, I don't just throw them into litigation. I don't say, oh, let's go right into court. We talk about a whole portal of avenues that they can channel themselves through. And we try to come up with a systematic plan that's economical, time sufficient, and hopefully by the end of it, you're coming to a clean break where your ex-spouse is leaving you on a good term.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's what good lawyers will help you navigate through. And we put that into place. And where you're starting a file somewhere at a price point, you're now ending that file at that price point.
Yeah.
So they're really happy when they're introduced to these ideas.
Be well prepared.
Yeah.
Talk to people that can help you, and then make the right decisions.
Yeah. That's what
that's
I
what
would
the
say.
lawyers are, right?
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what we're here
for
for.
sure.
We take on your stress.
Of course. So, and what do you guys do in your free time? Any hobbies? What are your
We love hiking. So we got
I love watching soccer.
He loves soccer. He has this whole jersey and everything going. We love hiking. We got our daughter into hiking at a very early age, so she enjoys it with us as well. So that would be primarily it. Whenever we
You
can,
like to travel?
we love to travel where there are mountains, so we can hike.
Yeah.
Those are our hobbies, right? And swimming is a must. Like every summer, we have like a pool in the backyard. We dive in, and we have our 6-year-old learning swimming now too. So
Annual
that's,
barbecues with
yeah.
family. There's a lot of stuff that we do. Yeah.
the casual stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope we're gonna see each other again.
Yeah,
and-
likewise.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for having us.
Thank
You're
you
a
for having
wonderful
us.
host.
Hello friends, thanks for watching my show and all of your love. Life is too short to be unhappy. Stay happy and healthy. See you in my next episode. Bye.